Okay, Article 11 talks about transition. How do we shift to this form of government? I'll tell you, if you had a chance to come to any of our meetings, especially when we start to talk about transition, trying to figure out all these dates and things, try to follow me the best you can. But believe me, it was a fun process trying to figure out how all these dates were going to work together. This is going to be submitted to the voters on April 7th, 2009. You might ask yourself, why an April election? I've heard that a lot. Why is an April election? There's a low voter turnout. That must have been planned somehow. You guys planned that. Well, let me tell you, we didn't have any say in it, really. We had two options. According to state statute, the voters voted April 2008 to have a Constitution Commission. We were appointed June 10th, 2008. According to state statute, we have 1 year to complete a constitution and submit it to the voters for approval. Okay? Due to timing, in 2009, there is one countywide election, and that is April 7th, 2009. Our other option in 2009, to meet our 1 year deadline as we were required by state statute, was to hold a special election for this issue. We discussed this in depth, and we felt April, there's usually some school board issues, there's county council positions, there's bond issues typically. Even though April is a lower turnout than what we would like to see at a November primary that we did not have an option of in 2009, it is better than a special election turnout for the most part. Also, a special election, talking to Debbie Dorr, county clerk, would cost the county $80,000 to $100,000 to hold a special election. We felt we definitely did not want to impose that upon the taxpayers of Franklin County in our current time. So that is why we came to April 7th was truly our only option as a commission. So you'll hear that one, and just so that you know, that's why it's there. If this when this is presented April 7th, if it passes, it shall take effect July 1st, 2009. How did we come up with July 1st? We discussed this in depth as well, and we decided that there's a lot of dates that come into play with state statute, what you can change, what you can't change. If the citizens vote this in, as they want to work underneath the Constitution, we did not feel that it was fair for them to have to wait a year or 2 years or whatever to get the power of home rule. If they want it, they should have the power to operate underneath it. We felt that July 1st is 3 months after the election, gives everybody time to certify the elections if need be. If there's any questions or anything that needs to be taken care of, all that can be cleared up in 90 days. It also gives our current county commission time to start working towards the transition. That's how we came up with July 1st. Effective July 1st, presiding commissioner shall become the county executive. We have a presiding commissioner now, Ed Hillhouse. He will become essentially the county executive effective July 1st. Our two associate commissioners, which are Ann Schrader and Terry Wilson, currently, shall become the transition council. All three of these will have a vote on ordinances and legislative powers, as they do today. All three of them will continue to have the same power that they do today on ordinances and legislative powers. Right now, they conduct business. If they want to pass a bill or ordinance, it requires 2 out of 3 vote, a majority vote. That's how they conduct business. If they want to approve the county budget, it requires 2 out of 3 vote. Anything that they can do now that the state statute allows a first-class county to do, they will continue to be able to do with a majority vote. So they can continue to operate the county just as they do now. Anything that they want to do under the Constitution, anything that the Constitution gives them the power to do that normally Franklin County wouldn't have the power to do, requires a unanimous vote. The reason we put this provision in, we feel like that the 3 commissioners for the most part have the best interest of the county in mind. And if it's truly an issue that is good for Franklin County, that this Constitution allows Franklin County to have, then all 3 of them should agree that it's what's best for Franklin County. So that's why we put that provision in there, because the Constitution does give them a little more power. So if it gives them that power, they should all agree it's what's best. Now it starts to get a little confusing because we have 2 of the council members already selected, 2 of the 7, and those 2 are going to be our existing commissioners, Ann Schrader and Terry Wilson. The 5 other council members will be elected in November of 2010 with staggering terms, and I'll explain to you how that works. Essentially, as it is now, Terry Wilson is a resident of District 3, Ann Schrader is a resident of District 5. The county executive will be elected in November 2010 term to serve a 4-year term. And that's because our presiding commissioner at Hillhouse will become the county executive. He's up for re-election in November 2010. So we will have, instead of a presiding commissioner election, we'll have a county executive election. With these commissioners, they serve 3 and 5, and we're going to elect the other 5 in November 2010. So Districts 1 and District 7, which are the other 2 odd-numbered districts, will be elected for a 2-year term. That is so all 4 odd-numbered districts go out at the same time, and then Districts 2, 4, and 6 will be elected for a 4-year term, so that we have staggering terms, essentially, in the council. By state law, we cannot change the length of term of any county office holder, which would be Ann and Terry, essentially. We can't change the length of their terms or change their salaries. We're going to change the responsibilities a little bit because they're going to serve a specific district instead of a northern and southern district, which we're allowed to change that, but we can't change their terms. So that's why we kind of set it up that way, to where it all flows out, and the citizens are getting the best bang for their buck as far as spending the salaries and the money and that sort of thing. All employees, boards and commissions, ordinances, rules, regulations, everything that's in place now will continue through the transition period unless otherwise governed by the county commission, as they can change it now. It's the same power they have now. Okay. Real quick, just to make sure I was clear on the county executive, we also can't change his term. Hillhouse is due for re-election November 2010, and at that point it will become a county executive position for a 4-year term. Also, you've heard a lot of talk lately about the auditor and treasurer's position. Same way with them. We can't change the length of their term. We can't shorten the length of their term. If the county council decides to eliminate these positions, they may not decide to eliminate the positions and create a Department of Finance, but if they do, it wouldn't be until the end of the current 4-year term that they're serving, and we can't change their salary until that point.